right into the Detroit Lions. Week 1. We were right, fellas.
Yeah, baby.
That's right.
We
Let's
were
go.
right. Predict that dub.
They got that grit, baby.
They got it, baby. I just wanted to say, I mean, that Mel Tucker is just an incredibly inconsiderate eel of a son of a, bee, man. The school gave him everything. Literally gave him everything. An incredibly high contract. Incredibly high paid assistant coaches. Did you know our offensive line coach makes over $1 million? Just the O-line coach.
Nice.
$80 million in upgrades to the football facilities. 3 weeks ago, this guy in his preseason interview, I didn't bring this up because I'm like, okay, he's just doing whatever. He's making excuses for why we're going to have a bad season, where he's complaining about the facilities, where he's complaining about the NIL situation, how he's not getting enough support when he's literally getting everything from this college, while at the same time knowing that he's under a Title IX investigation due to complaints about him jerking it on the phone with the most prominent rape activist in college sports.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
It's it's absolutely crazy, man.
It's wild.
It made me
It blows
super
my
mad.
mind.
You were given everything. You made excuses that we all, at least those who are biased to Michigan State, who heard him talk, glazed over because you're like, okay, it probably won't be an amazing season. Okay, I get it. And you're making excuses for yourself. But what he was blaming it on left a sour taste in my mouth. But I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens next year. See how this year goes. See what happens next year. But I didn't know at that time. He obviously knew since December he was under an investigation. It's just super disappointing. It's incredibly selfish, narcissistic bull. And what kind of pissed me off, aside from that, is the media portion of that, where they were teeing off on the university. These sports journalism degree blowhards, guys like up in your like huge, who are just teeing off on like Michigan State when they literally followed Title IX protocol. And all these people had to do, who are journalists, just had to Google. Like literally, that's all I did. I just Googled it. And like literally, Title IX experts and lawyers say Michigan State had to follow this protocol. The reason, like they knew there was an investigation going on in December. They don't know the details unless Tucker or the accused, Brenda Tracy, or accuser, Brenda Tracy, reveal the information. There's no way they can know what the information is. And so if Michigan State goes ahead and suspends Mel Tucker in December, not even knowing what the investigation is, one, they put themselves liable to owe Mel Tucker the rest of his contract plus whatever damages he's going to claim. Two, the big thing with Title IX is not allowing the victim to be exposed. So if you release this, you suspend Tucker, all of a sudden there's FOIA, there's all this other stuff that comes into play, and potentially the victim could be outed, which is really the number one protection when you go through a Title IX investigation. If the victim doesn't want to be outed, don't out the victim. He's got to go. Just straight up, he's got to go. As soon as the hearing on October 5th and 6th is over, he's gone.
Welcome to episode 17 of the BDE Sports Talk Podcast. My name is Bill, along with hosts and brothers, the D&E of the BDE, Dean and Eddie. Fellas, good evening to you.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
What's going on?
Well, not much. Ready to get this thing going. We're 4 months in.
Woo.
Before we get started, just want to say thank you for watching today's episode. Please hit the like button, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for future episodes and content, such as our Pick'em show, where we won't talk about that. If you want to know how things are going, feel free to click on the episode. So 41.9%.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So, fellas, Dean, how was your weekend?
It's good. I didn't do anything this weekend, actually. I just kind of sat around, watched The Meg for the first time. It was pretty good. Other than that, whole lot of nothing. Just sat around, got extra fat, and yeah.
The Meg, the shark movie?
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not
You
really
saw
my
the
type
first
of movie,
Meg?
but yeah.
That's what you saw?
I heard the second
Aiden-
one came out, so
Yeah, Aiden saw that one in theaters and he thought it was pretty good.
yeah, it wasn't bad.
Meg too. I mean, it's a 14-year-old, so
That's fair.
I don't, you gotta take it all with a little bit of grain of salt. Think, oh yeah,
it's-
there's a lot of
yeah.
things I thought was cool when I was 14 that I don't think is that cool now.
Fair.
But Meg 2 might be one of those things that are cool both times. So
That's true.
Never seen it.
me neither.
Oh. All right. No golf this weekend?
No, took the weekend off. I was killing them out there. So
Took a break from the tour, huh?
Take a break. Let the boys get a win.
I didn't want to get too good.
Yeah, let's
See if they can shoot under 90 without the pressure.
They can.
Eddie, how was your weekend?
That's great. It was good, man. I mean, it's just busy. We got practices, games. Caitlin had her first cheer game. She did great. I was doing the cheers in the stands too. I know a few. I get into it, and just a lot of running around. John had his first soccer game, and that was cool. Did get to watch The Flash. I finally got that on, and I did like that. I like that a bit,
Good,
actually.
right?
Yeah.
I hope it kind of at the end.
Yeah.
That was good.
And this is not a spoiler because I feel like most people know this, but right at the end of the movie. Just kidding. But the Michael Keaton Batman thing was cool.
Yeah.
And that was something that was advertised before. I really liked that.
Batman.
You never heard of it?
Well, yeah, I've heard of it. Was he
Yeah.
Batman again?
You'll have to watch it. to
It's
find
Michael
out.
Keaton in a DC movie. You tell me, bro.
You tell me. Actually, he
Wow.
was in a DC movie. Oh, no, he wasn't.
Just saying that doesn't make it not as good. Because I knew that going in, and I was the one thing I had read before that was that it wasn't as awesome as like you would think it is. But I think because of that, it ended up being better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you raise
No.
expectations or lower them, that ends up being where it is. Like if it's lower than you thought it was good because it was just really decent.
Yeah,
And it was good.
actually, when I watched it, I forgot that he was even in it, so it was more of a surprise for me, and that made it way better for me.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, like, I didn't know he was gonna. And then it was, he's in the whole freaking movie, and you're like, oh, all right.
Well, no, that's too much. Now you're spoiling.
Watch.
I mean,
You jerk.
I didn't even know the guy was going to be in it.
Yeah, no, no.
You don't even know who
Sweet.
Michael Keaton is.
I do.
You've never heard of
I
him.
didn't know it. That's pretty cool that he's going to be Batman.
Just because you saw Duplicity once, you think you know who Michael Keaton is?
Actually, the last Michael Keaton movie I watched, I think, was Birdman.
Yeah,
Same.
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Which
Birdman. Not the same Birdman.
I was gonna say I wish it was that Birdman.
Dude, when I originally when I heard the movie Birdman was coming out, Mike Keaton was in. I was like, "Is he playing Birdman?"
That's what I thought too. I thought that all the way up until I was watching the movie, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't."
If you're expecting Birdman, it's a huge letdown from when you watched the movie Birdman.
It wasn't bad, but I was expecting Birdman,
and Bird Boy to just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been sweet, dude.
Yeah, right?
Power of the sun. Classic.
Oh, maybe I'll check it out. I wouldn't have checked it out.
Check out
it is good.
It's not
and honestly, like you said, Dean, the Ezra Miller part, it makes him more palatable moving forward.
100%.
So.
Honestly, it's not a spoiler to me because I probably, if you guys never brought it up, I probably never had watched it.
But you will now.
You should check it out. It
Maybe.
is good.
I don't watch a lot. I watch the only things I watch on TV are like sports, and then maybe like a bunch of YouTube stuff. I'm a big YouTube video person. But mainly I play video games. Like when I have the extra time or the downtime to do it, that's usually what I'm doing.
I mean, at minimum, dude, you should check out the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. It's not that much better than the regular Justice League cut, but it is better. And it helps set up future things. It's longer, which probably is going to deter you. But
4 hours long.
It's like 3, isn't it? It's like 3 something. I put it in. I did 2 watchings. Like I did like the first half and the second half because I'm like I'm not gonna sit. I don't have 3 hours to chill and just watch. But
yeah, I'd fall asleep.
Check that out and then watch The Flash. I mean, at minimum, by the time you get done with The Flash, you'd be like, that was worth it.
That's like
I think
6 hours of stuff I have to watch.
Just straight. Don't do anything else. Just watch this.
I'd probably watch The Flash, but man, that's a 4-hour movie.
I mean, it's
just watch The Flash then.
The Flash it's good, and I think you'd really like the ending too.
But to Ed's point, like I'm a big watch it from the beginning.
You like to know everything that's going on, right? Yeah. Did you watch Batman vs Superman?
Yes.
Okay, so you're ready for Justice League.
It was Batman vs Superman, the one where he destroys Batman
against Superman.
Superman.
Yeah, I get that. Where he wakes up, or no, that was Justice League, right? Where Superman wakes up.
Oh yeah.
And he starts beating the crap out of, I think, Batman.
Yeah, that's Justice League. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, no.
You don't. I guess you don't have to watch the Zack Snyder cut. I mean, but it is better. It makes it for a better story.
Well, I mean, I like Justice League. A lot of people hated Justice League, but I feel like it's a good movie for what it was.
It's a superhero movie. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a bunch of imaginary superheroes fighting aliens, and like, what are we talking about?
I guess I'm a little smooth-brained. I guess I like things. Well, I'm very basic. Yeah,
true. But you do a really good job.
I appreciate that. So no, my weekend was spent watching college football. watched a little bit of NFL on Sunday. I went to my brother-in-law's and he was like, "So let me see your teams." And I'm like, "Fantasy football teams?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't have any fantasy football teams." He goes, "How do you get through Sunday?" I said, "I just like football. I don't know. I just watch, it is what it is." I mean, I get it though. I usually do play fantasy football, but this is like the second or third year that I haven't played. I hate it when I have guys that play the Lions. Like if I had Justin Jefferson, right? Like obviously I want him to do well, but if he's playing the Lions, I ain't cheering for him. I ain't wanting him to score points. So it's like, yeah. Are you guys in a fantasy football league? Together?
Well,
We're in a 2-man fantasy football league.
just 1v1.
The waiver wire is
The most
dead
jacked
silent.
lineups you've ever seen.
Yeah. No kidding.
Oh man.
I am in one league. It's an auto renew league I've been in for a really long time. I feel like 5 of the 8 people in the league actually pay attention to what's going on. And I think the other 3 may have never looked since after the first year. But it's been going on for like 10 years.
Really?
So yeah. Yeah. So it's like I'm always auto renewed. And that's how I'm also in a baseball fantasy league. Because it's the same group, I think the same group of people. I have no idea. I don't know who most of the people are, but it's just get auto renewed every year. And I'm in like way in first in the baseball one because I'm the only person, literally the only person in there who has done anything with any lineup. Like I have got a 35 game lead in first. Heading into the playoffs next week, and I'm looking to collect that trophy.
Somebody's still starting Miggy out there.
Probably. Yeah. Well, dude, he's been, he's been
You got
good.
Gary Sheffield in still?
Yeah. But yeah, that's the only one I'm in. So like, I don't take it seriously. I lost week 1 in that football. It's just because the guys did really bad. But it's an auto draft. Like I've got no real skin in the game.
Right.
But it's fun just to have something going that's not serious. I don't care if I win. So I guess the very short answer to your question is yes, I'm in one league. I could have stopped there.
I was in work league the last 2 years, and then I got a new
Drafted
job,
your favorite employees.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a work league.
Yeah, it's a work league.
I got Kevin as my number 1.
I lived on the waiver wire. Last year, I had like the number 3 pick, and I missed the first round of the draft, and it auto drafted like Saquon Barkley for me, and he was out for like the first like 6-7 weeks. So I made like probably over 100 moves on the waiver wire trying to find a running back. just a general.
Yeah.
I made the playoffs though both years.
That's sweet.
It took a lot of work.
I gotta say, even though I'm the only one doing anything in this baseball league, for some reason, the guy that set it up a decade ago, put it to where you can only make 10 adder drops for the season.
Ooh,
so like I just made my 10th ad this week because it's the week before the playoffs, and I'm like, you can only do 9 over 162 game season. Or 10. So you're like and you know how guys go on the IL and IR, so you just gotta you gotta really pace it out, man. You can't
you just gotta let guys be hurt on your team.
Yeah, you do. I mean, and there's only 2 bench spots. Like for hitters and only 1 bench spot for pitchers.
Jeez.
So
how are you supposed to?
It's tight. Well, if nobody else plays, it works out great. If you're the only one in the league that's doing anything, it works out amazing.
For the last 6 years, you just see transactions all just him.
Yeah, probably. But I can tell you, I haven't won it every year either. Like once every 3 years, I win this thing. It's just
Right.
A group of dudes come off the IL and then they get hot, and I just got whoever I added and dropped over the.
That's funny.
Losing those games. Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I would do fantasy football league. It's a little tougher in the NFL. I didn't even look at the ones we did from last week, but we'll hop right into the Detroit Lions. Week 1. We were right, fellas.
Yeah, baby.
That's right.
We
Let's
were
go.
right. Predicted that dub.
They got that grit, baby.
They got it, baby.
Real quick, Goff went 22 for 35 with 253 yards and a touchdown. He was only sacked once in the game. Montgomery had 21 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown. Gibbs,
Say 21.
21 carries for 74 yards. Yep. Gibbs had 7 carries for 42 yards. St. Brown had 6 receptions for 71 yards on one TD. Laporta had 5 receptions, 39 yards, and Jameer, as of note, was 2 receptions for 17 yards. One big one I wanted to bring up was Marvin Jones Jr. with 2 receptions for 8 yards on 6 targets. And the reasons for that I think are pretty obvious. Patrick Mahomes went 21 for 39 with 226 and 2 TDs with 1 interception. Big interception. He also was the team's leading rusher. He had 6 carries for 45 yards. Pacheco, 8 carries, 23 yards. No one really did, I guess, separate themselves from the pack as far as the other receivers. Valdez Scantling had 2 receptions for 48 yards. 11 wide receivers had catches for the Chiefs.
They're trying to find somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Great win. Great way to open up the season. Your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, no, the defense looked good. Overall, I would say. I mean, I think the offense looked a little rusty out there when they were playing, especially in that first half. And I know people have been saying Goff played really great and his stats were great. I thought he didn't. I think he can play way better. I thought he didn't look very good at all, to be honest. I mean, yeah, he completed, what was it, 22 of 35? Something like that.
It was 22 of 35 for 253.
For 253 and a touchdown. I mean, and he probably should have had a pick somewhere in there at one point. But no, I mean, overall, I mean, I think the offense really picked it up in the second half. Even though, I mean, wasn't for that pick 6 from Brian Branch, I don't think. They have a tougher time winning that game for sure. But overall, I mean, I don't care if they didn't have Travis Kelce or not. Winning against the world champions is
right.
Week 1, game 1.
You know, NFL's the NFL.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, to your point, I mean, J-Mo was out. I think J-Mo would have had a huge impact on that game.
Yeah.
Just, maybe not as much as Kelce, but he would have had a huge impact because then you're taking away Marvin Jones. You don't, you know what I mean? He had a terrible game.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah. Oh, it was so bad. And I agree with you. I agree with you on Goff. I think you're right. I felt like he could have played a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not like a dig at him. I mean, my notes, I said he looked all right. He definitely game managed, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine with me. I mean, if that's going to get him wins, so be it. Yes, but yes, I felt like he's played a lot better football. I mean, as much as last season.
I just thought it was surprising at how everybody was glowing about how he looked out there. Oh, he's the best. And I'm just like, man, he can play better than that. Like, I
Talking
thought he
about
didn't look
Goff.
great. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking about Goff. I didn't think he looked like that. He made clutch passes at the right times, and I mean, and some of them were pretty. You know what I mean? But I mean, if we didn't go for it on fake that punt on 4th down to get that momentum,
season changer.
Yeah, you said that.
Potentially.
I said it at the time. I said
yeah.
it at the time. I'm like, season changer.
Yeah, I mean that was a complete shift for the offense. And
Yeah,
I mean,
I've
they
definitely
drove
heard
right up the field and
conflicting
scored.
things on Goff as well. Like, I thought he played a pretty average game. I had a friend, you know, Bill knows Schuff. He had said that he had thought that Goff's play was very underrated, and that, you know, he made the right calls, didn't turn the ball over, extended some plays when he had to. He said it reminded him of Greasy at Michigan. You know, he's a Michigan slappy, so
It ain't easy.
I could take that for what it is. Yeah, it ain't easy being greasy, baby. But yeah, I don't know. Back to whatever you were talking about, D. But that's just some stuff I heard about Goff.
Yeah, and you know, to the man, I forgot who they played. A bunch of losers.
Yeah, they're 0-1. I know they haven't won a game.
Yeah,
The team they beat
pretty
hasn't
bad.
won.
They're pretty bad. But to the Chiefs' credit, their D line had quite a bit of pressure even without Chris Jones out there too. Man,
Chris Jones, the best defensive tackle to ever play football ever.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The greatest of all time, the GOAT.
That's what it sounds like since the game has been over.
I know people have been like, it's like, geez, I mean, they still got quite a bit of pressure on Goff throughout the night, but I don't know. Overall, yeah, I thought it looked good. I mean, I was happy with the outcome for sure.
Mm-hmm. Eddie?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I would agree with that. It was kind of funny because the morning show on my way to work that day, there was a guy on ESPN. He was just going off on how the Lions were just lucky to be there, lucky to have the game, let alone win it. And then you saw like 8 out of 10 of the broadcasters before the game pick Kansas City to win.
Yeah.
Even though they knew Kelsey wasn't playing at that time. I'm going to leave some of that stuff for later. But, you know, the Lions showed up. They showed out. It's one of the bigger wins of our lifetime, I would say. Not that they haven't beaten good teams before, and they've obviously got the one playoff win in our lifetime, but this is a pretty big one. I mean, I'm not putting too much on it as we won it, we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm saying that it's a big win for the franchise, and just that all the hype, everything else going into it, the banner, the Super Bowl champs, everything else. At third place, prime time, first game of the year. That's not a game the Lions win.
No.
Not in our history. I mean, it's just straight up isn't. People can put whatever spin they want on it, but that's just straight up the Lions' history. We do not win those games, especially the way the game went down.
Yeah.
Well, I was just about to bring up. I mean, you know, you get the past years, and I get it. It's a different regime, it's different teams, but like you said, it's our history. They lose that game. They find a way to lose that game at the end, right? And what was it, 4th and 20 when Mahomes? It was 4th and 20 for Mahomes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really in the back of your mind, you're like, he's probably going to get this.
He's going to
there's something's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Something's going to happen here.
You know what would happen? Like, to me, it's like Tony catches a touchdown pass right then.
Right.
Kadarius Toney. That's like when he pulls in a big catch and first down catch, or whatever.
Yeah. So no, I agree. I can't think of really a bigger game. I mean, every game that's been that big as far as either media attention or what they have to do has been in a loss when they gave the division away. You know, against Green Bay, the Hail Mary, I mean, just things that have piled up. So things that the Jets are pretty much experiencing at this point.
Yeah.
you,
You
you
could
know,
you could say it's sad or whatever, but let's be honest, two of the biggest wins we've ever seen in our lives were the last two games they've ever played. The last two games they've played.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Fair.
and nothing's just happened because of those games. That's why I'm like, you could say it's sad. We didn't go to the playoffs because we beat the Packers, and nothing has happened because we beat the Chiefs. But there were huge implications, a ton of pressure, and nobody expected us to win either one of those games, other than us, the Lions fans, not just us three, but
Nope, just
Right.
the three of
us, people who know and believe. So all that aside, I would say, I look into the PFF grades. You guys know who had the highest one this week on offense, or in general on the team?
Mm,
on offense, would it be
You have to have it written down if you're looking through.
no, I
Laporta?
don't. I was
You
gonna
don't?
say, was it Laporta?
Okay, Dean, do you have a guess?
Oh, Dean said Laporta.
Yeah, that was my guess.
Dean said Laporta?
He
Okay.
stole
Yeah.
my guess.
Oh no, I was gonna say Laporta.
Craig
You were?
Reynolds?
Yeah,
Laporta wasn't even in the top 5.
really.
He played well.
Number
He had-
1. Oh, go ahead.
I'll just real quick. He had 5 receptions for 39 yards. I know that's only 39 yards, but they were all on 5 targets. So
Hey,
he didn't.
Yeah. Also, real quick on that, I liked what he did when he got his chances.
Yeah.
I mean, he might not have
Also-
had a great PFF grade. Yeah. Hey, why don't you get in real quick too?
No, his run blocking was insane as well. It was
Yeah.
really good.
He did.
His
Laporta had a
pulls
great
were
night.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something I was looking up. I'm not going to do it tonight, but something we could talk about in the future, maybe postseason, whatever. But because makes more sense to do it after week 17 than week 1, but
Week
potentially one of the greatest drafts ever
Hmm.
if they continue down this road. And I was looking up some of the lists of some of the great drafts. If these guys can do what they've done in one game,
Right.
well, considering last year was one of the greatest drafts of our life.
Well,
hey man, he just keeps putting them together, huh?
Well,
Put them together, right? Yeah.
all signs point to this draft class being outstanding. And I mean, it's one thing if they did that well against, it's hard to say who's a really
Carolina.
bad team right now. Yeah, we'll say Carolina
Carolina or
Compared-
Houston.
compared to the defending world champions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then of course one of your rookies is the one who gets the pick 6.
It was beautiful. So number 1 on the team, and I love to see it because he gets some hate. Vaitai,
Mm.
Nice.
88.4.
Yeah.
Highest on the team, just totally. And it's no surprise because of how it looked, but 3 of the top 5 offensive PFF grades were offensive linemen. Vaitai Gibbs actually was second on the team. And I also thought was interesting and to really add something to him, because I saw after the game, I was surprised to see people say like they should use Gibbs more. I don't feel like he got into. I felt like he was used perfectly. Sure, he could have got a couple more touches. I mean, what are we? We're nitpicking at that point, I think, but he was used pretty nicely. Second highest PFF grade on the team, and he broke the most tackles in the NFL in week 1. So the kids obviously got some nice things going.
That little head
Well,
spin.
and
Oof.
yes.
Sick. That was sick.
I actually, in my notes, I have people who are complaining about Gibbs getting more touches need to settle down.
That's exactly right.
I think he needs less.
He could do
No, I mean,
by 5 for all I care.
I mean, obviously, yes, you want him to get more touches, but it's all about bringing him in for the seat. You know what I mean? Like easing him into the offense. They don't need him to carry the ball 25 times right now.
Right. So Montgomery.
Exactly. Ease him in. You know, we hear all the time about, example quarterbacks and throwing them into the fire, and if they had just got to sit behind somebody for a while or for a year, that they would, they would have been better off. Well, now you have that. You have, like Hendon Hooker can sit behind Goff. He wouldn't. I mean, obviously he's hurt, but if he's not hurt, they probably don't get him. They probably don't get him. But you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're now at a point where this team can ease people in, and no production gets decreased. So I saw that a lot. I figured you were probably going to say something about that because it was
Sure.
pretty prominent.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I thought that was kind of crazy, but I mean, it is what it is, dude. I mean, we're gonna see some whack takes on Lions football throughout the year, especially since they have the hype they have, and we have probably quite a bevy of new fans, along with folks who are just always disgruntled. So it's just one of those things where we could be 15-2 by the end of the regular season, and you get those disgruntled guys and be like, yeah, but there's no shot at winning the first, their first game in the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not without
So whatever.
Stafford.
Not without Steph. Where's Steph? So after Gibbs, it was Goff, then Sewell and Ragnow. That's our top 5 guys. Obviously, the bottom of our offensive was Marvin Jones. No question there. Surprisingly, 4th lowest was Jonah Jackson, but he came in at 64.4, which isn't good for him, because 70 on PFF is what they call starter level. So it's not like, so I think that says something too, that he was our 4th lowest and he was still 64.4. I mean, I think overall the line obviously played pretty well.
I thought he played pretty well.
I mean, yeah, he did.
I mean,
nearly
obviously.
as good as a starter should,
Right.
according to PFF grades. So you got
They
to take
didn't
that
watch
for whatever it's worth. I mean, it is what it is. Like, take it for what it's worth, because our 2 lowest rated defenders was Rodrigo and Jack Campbell. So Jack Campbell obviously had that sweet play, but
Right.
he wasn't there all the way. Derek Barnes was our highest defensive rated player. Certainly impressed. Actually, his run defensive grade was like over 90, which is going to be huge going into next week, obviously, and the next 2 weeks, honestly. So we should be seeing a lot of Derek Barnes. Hopefully, he doesn't go full Derek Barnes and goes missing somewhere during those games, because we really need him the next 2 games, more so than we did the first game. But so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I was surprised that Sutton actually came in the bottom 5. I just don't know how much more he could have done. He was targeted 5 times. He allowed 2 picks or 2 receptions. Yeah, he can't pay. But he didn't have any tackles or anything, so maybe that's part of it, and maybe he could have had some. But I thought it was good watching the game that you didn't see him, because they weren't trying to throw it at him.
Right.
And so I'm like, he's just doing a good job coverage, apparently, or apparently not. I don't know how PFF grades that kind of thing. But
where'd Jerry Jacobs end up at? He got targeted quite a bit, I felt.
He did pretty good. He wasn't in the bottom or top 5, so he must have been somewhere in the middle.
Right in the middle, average.
Yeah.
Really?
I thought he did pretty good. I mean, for Jerry, I mean,
for Jerry.
For Jerry, he does a good job, dude, for an UDFA.
No, yeah, for sure.
I don't know why you're hating on Jerry so hard.
I just thought he was targeted quite a bit.
He was. I mean, if you're choosing between the 2, they're probably going to go after Jerry.
I mean, that's, if Tony doesn't drop those balls, those come back on old JJ, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt. So
did you see the meme of Detroit Lions Player of the Week, Kadarius Toney?
I've seen some of that.
I've seen so many of those. They're hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. So funny. So, all right. Yeah, no, good win. I pretty much everything. Oh, the only thing I had was, for me, the defense was the MVP of the game. Um, homie can, you know, I mean, you can only limit him so much. You know, the dude is so good.
So good.
Yeah.
He is. I
So
mean,
good.
I've watched.
He
I've
proved it
obviously.
again. Even in a loss, he proved it
Yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah. And everyone's like, "Oh, well, the offense, they're nothing without Kelsey," and I'm like, "You fit." Dean, you and I talked about this. Half of their playbook is probably geared towards him to Kelsey.
Yeah.
Right. And I have on here that Kelsey was not playing was a big factor, but I don't think it was as big as a lot of people are saying it is, because I think the Lions had schemed for him accordingly. Right. I mean, that's my thought on it was it almost.
I mean,
I,
yeah, what I've said
mean,
is the game would have been different.
yeah.
And I was saying that the Lions, it was a 1-point game. So I'm not saying the Lions definitely win. And I'm not saying the Kansas City definitely wins. The game would have just played out differently. And
Right.
personnel would have been different. The coverages would have been different.
That's
Like, we
and
can't
that's what I'm saying.
say. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like I think they had a scheme for him. It's, you know what I mean? And they would have gotten theirs anyway. But you know,
Shout out to the D and AG for the second half.
yeah. Exactly.
No touchdowns. They made
Yeah.
excellent adjustments and made it happen, man.
I'll come back to that whole everybody saying Kelsey being out thing. We'll get to that later. Anyways,
I know
that's
coming.
on with the old. Away with the old.
Out with the old, baby.
Out with the old. In with the new. Week 2, Seattle coming to Detroit. Detroit is at -5.5.
I think I heard that was the biggest opening line of the NFL week. That's what I heard. I can't verify that right as we sit. And it's changed by the time people hear this. But
I mean, 5.5 is
that's a big line
in the NFL. Yeah.
Why don't you kick us off with that preview, Bill?
We'll do. So, Seattle got obviously got beat by the Rams 30-13 on Sunday. Both tackles were taken out of the game with injuries. Looks like Lucas, the right tackle, missed the second half due to a sore patella that's been, I guess, going on since training camp. The left tackle, Charles Cross, he left the game in the second half due to a toe injury, didn't return. They did this today, Tuesday, sign Jason Peters.
That's a good sign.
They don't know if they don't know. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They don't know if either of the tackles are going to play this week. They think they might. Regardless,
they should try to sign Jawan Taylor, honestly.
Yeah.
That might help.
The tight end?
Yeah, exactly. The slot receiver, Jawan Taylor.
So that bodes well for Detroit, obviously. I have on here that just some of my notes real quick. The crowd was going to be out of control on Sunday. That's going to be a very, very loud atmosphere. Yeah. I think Gibbs is going to be getting more touches. I mean, Dan Campbell already said that.
I mean, dear Lord, he should.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one or two less.
Yeah,
come on.
Five touches.
There needs to be a variance in touches. No doubt about it.
Goff just needs to keep doing what he's doing. Maybe it's hard to say play better when he's gone this long without throwing a pick. I just want him to keep doing the things he's doing. As long as it's getting to W's, it is what it is. Dean, I do agree with you. I thought he could have played better. But I think that's just I I think that's JG, man. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's just JG.
I think
I
he's
think
just rusty, but that's
I mean,
yeah.
I definitely think that's part of it.
Yeah, he did start to look better as as the game went on. I think the Lions are going to keep Geno at bay. Pressure will be too much. My BD Sports Talk podcast Stone Cold Lock of the Week is Hutch at 3 sacks, especially if those tackles don't play. And the last thing I have is the Lions defense is for real. And we knew this. We knew it because we've watched every game. We knew that they were young and they developed over the course of this year. And all I've heard in the national media is about, oh, well, they ranked last and now look at them now. But if you look at the last 7 to 8 games of last season, you knew that defense wasn't ranked last in the league.
AG did his work, man.
Yeah.
Hey, he came through in a time when he was being doubted. He really pulled through and got those guys together and came up with schemes that were working every week.
And put it all on Aubrey Pleasant.
Hey, man. Hey,
He's
Aubrey
like,
left, and all of a sudden.
He's like, it's not me, it's him, I swear.
That's awesome.
Hey.
And then he's gone, he's like, all right, let's switch it up now.
So I have Lions by 13.
It's big. It's big.
So
yeah,
go for it. Sorry, I was gonna say that's my bad.
You're gonna say what?
Nothing. Go ahead. I've gone on too long.
No, you haven't. No, I don't have anything crazy. I mean, you talk about those tackles. The big part for the Lions is getting pressure. Geno looked really bad, in my opinion. 16 to 26, he threw 112 yards and a touchdown in an NFL game. I mean, in a game that Seattle was supposed to win and win pretty well at home. So I don't love what they did. Barnes, if he comes through with another plus 90 run defense PFF, we're going to be looking in really good shape.
Mm-hmm.
We got to obviously on our end, we got to watch out for Bobby Wagner. The dude's a beast. The dude came through with 19 tackles total last week, 9 solo, but he had 19 on the sheet. You don't really see that very often. Bobby Wagner is just a different dude,
Yeah.
And so you just got to be cognizant of that guy. The fortunate thing is we have such a good line. Our guards are nicely mobile that we get out there. Even when Ragnow has to do some things, they get out there to the linebackers. I think our matchups, as far as that goes, our blocking scheme actually works out pretty nice when they play a team like that. When you mostly have to focus on the talent at linebacker because they do a lot of motion, they do a lot of pull. So I just think that that works out for us. But, I mean, Seattle's going to bounce back. At the end of the day, they're going to bounce back. They have enough veterans. They've got a good coach. It was just week 1. We can't overhype what happened in week 1. It'll be a tough game. I fully expect the Lions to win in their home opener. I mean, I'm going to pick them to win probably. I can't think of a game I'm going to pick them to lose.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless they just keep losing from here on out. Even then, I don't know if I can do it, but I have them winning, and that's just not just a homer pick. I believe they're going to win. I think a lot of people are going to pick them to win.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I was in a pick'em league where when they were bad, and I picked them every week. So that's how.
Hey, I told you about that too.
I'm going to pick the Lions.
Yeah,
I had to settle in week 9. I paid out the rest of the year. Like half of the rest of the year.
Like, there was like 30 people doing it.
Ooh, yeah.
But yeah, no, like you guys said, I mean, I'm just kind of picking at the bone now. What I can really say about what I think the Lions are going to win this week.
What else you got?
mean, both tackles are out. So, like Bill said, Hutch and the D line should. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have a day, but they should. In general, they should be able to stop the run a lot better. I mean, with Derek Barnes playing so well against the run, that's something. I mean, you got to hope that he just keeps that up. But like we've talked about, he disappears from time to time. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the offense, like I said, like I was saying earlier, I feel like they were just rusty for this game one. I mean, none of them. They looked way more rusty than the defense, but when you think the defense pretty much played the entire preseason, all of them did. You know what I mean? Except for like Anzalone.
Anzalone. I mean,
and
Harris, Hutch. Yeah.
But like the whole offensive line. I mean, what Gibbs played at running back, and then Goff didn't play. I mean, neither did St. Brown, or you know what I mean. So I feel like them all getting out there, they'll shake that off, and I think like Bill said, I think they'll win by double digit. I don't think they'll win by 13, but I think they'll win by 10 or more.
So a really narrow window.
So really close.
Between 10 and 12.
Hey.
11, 12, right around there.
Certainly not 13. That's dumb.
$11.99.
I hear you. I know what you're thinking.
I fully expect them to win. I fully expect them to win.
I was going to say 10, but I feel like a touchdown too few.
13's too much, man.
Stop yourself at 12, damn it. You're getting out of control.
I was like, Eddie, please don't say 10. Please don't say 10. 9.
I honestly, I think it's going to be less than a touchdown. But I feel very confident in the Lions winning.
Were you some kind of Seahawks fan?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, it should be a good game. I mean, a lot of it's I truly think a lot of it's going to depend on if those tackles play. Because even if Jason Peters plays, he's not that because he's 41, but I mean, he hasn't played at all.
He is also 41.
And he's
he is 41. So I mean, you take your two starters out and you have two backup tackles against Hutch, who is another person who's the real deal. That dude,
Hutch, dog.
That
You're
guy,
lucky you know Jabo on the other side. Huh? That's the only thing that's saving you right now.
You know who else had a good game? Kaminsky.
He did.
Yeah.
He played good.
Man, what a find. What a find of that guy. They just keep doing it, man.
Brad Holmes knows how to identify talent. I think that I don't know how that could be in question. Other than, the one thing I will give credit to the last regime is they knew how to draft offensive line talent.
Yeah.
Because that has held. That has held up. That is the only thing that has held up from their tenure.
It's true.
Is that. But I feel confident Brad Holmes could also draft good offensive linemen. We'll see what Corby Sorsdahl does in the future. But
right. Well, I mean, it's not very often you have a center who pulls. You know what I mean? Like, man.
Ragnow is so good.
Yeah. If he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Just
keep that toe intact.
Yeah, keep that toe. So, all right. Well, we'll look forward to that game. Let's get into real quick recap of week 2 college football teams around Michigan. We'll start off with Michigan at UNLV. I'll just do some stats real quick. Just a quick analysis. Michigan, did I say they won 35-7? I mean, I'm sure everyone knows that by now. JJ was 22 of 25, 278 with 2 touchdowns. Blake Corum had 15 carries, 80 yards, 3 touchdowns. Interesting stat. Donovan Edwards, 6 carries, 9 yards. 5 receptions for 26 yards.
2
Roman
rough
Wilson.
weeks in a row for that guy, huh?
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
put it in there. Roman Wilson, 4 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. UNLV QBs only threw for 168 yards combined. Team had 61 yards rushing. So I don't know. Did you guys catch the game at all this weekend?
Yeah, I watched some of it.
I'll watch
Yeah.
some highlights.
You guys
Yeah.
have any thoughts on that or?
I was keeping track because I had Michigan on the under,
Mhm.
or that game on the under, and they hit the under.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did. And I don't have much to add other than I thought JJ looked great again. I hate saying it. It just he just, and I guess it's against teams he should be, but he's looked
Right.
really good. Wilson Johnson looked nice. Dean finally got the sacks he was craving. Where Michigan got 5 this week.
No, I didn't.
Good for you, Dean.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, I was looking for 5. I only got 3.
I was gonna say I only got 2.
No surprises in that game. Guardians of Victory did their job, won the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Guardians of Victory.
the Guardians of Victory.
They had 2 Guardians of Victory for that game. That's a Jim Harbaugh. He says the head coach is the guardian of victory.
Oh,
Oh.
my man.
It's what he said a week before this game. I said it last week on last episode.
Guardians of Victory.
Along with the Wii fence.
Yeah.
Quote.
It's
Yeah.
the Wii fence.
The
yeah.
Wii-
It was the
Wii
same
fence.
press conference. The head coach is the guardian of victory. So the 2 guardians of victory did what they were supposed to do. Guarded the victory.
Did a good job. And you could kind of see, given they were up in the second half, but you could kind of see, the change of, how the plays were being called and stuff like that. But,
Well, you're a big Mike Hart fan, so.
yeah. Huge Mike Hart
Pride
fan.
comes before the fall, my man.
I say it's cool that an alum gets to coach his team, and I'm some of Mike Hart guy. I hate that guy.
Based on what Dean saw, Michigan State's got a good chance.
I never said they did. Never said they did. But yeah, all I can really, they were efficient, and they did the job. Like you guys said, McCarthy looked good, Corum looked good. There's really not a lot to nitpick.
Yep. I pretty much had the same thing. JJ looked great again. Look for more of the same this week. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's against teams that he should be doing this. But
he's doing it.
If you look at how he's playing, regardless of what the defense is, he's made right decisions pretty much every time he's thrown the ball. So we'll see when we start playing Rutgers, or sorry, not we as an us 3, but Michigan,
Yeah.
Get my helmet on.
Rutgers isn't looking bad, man. I watched them play. They're not. They're going to be the better team out of the 4 that we started with. So
they're an okay team with a good coach, and they'll be ready to play. That being said, Michigan will probably win by 3 touchdowns.
Or we'll see. Anyways,
no, they probably will.
Defense looked, like you said, defense looked really good with 5 sacks. O-line was great in pass protection. Still wasn't overly impressed with them in the run game. I'm not saying that they were bad. It's just I expected maybe a little bit better at times, but it is what it is.
I think you got to think that is the number one thing everybody is trying to defend against going into this year.
True. Yes. True.
So it's going to be open up probably more for JJ. So I guess when you play the better teams, it's going to even out a little bit.
Right.
They're going to they have to respect JJ, what he's got going on, and they also have to respect the run. So there's going to be openings both sides.
Yeah.
Just depends on the coaching, honestly, at that point.
Yeah. The Guardians of Victory.
The Guardians of Victory. Exactly.
Next up, we got Western at Syracuse. Syracuse won 48-7. Salopek went 15 for 22 with 110 yards and an interception. Buckley had 8 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown. For Syracuse, Schrader was 19 for 30 with 286 and a touchdown and a rushing TD. Allen had 8 carries for 20 yards and 3 touchdowns. Price 16 carries, 68 yards. So the receiver Brown 3 receptions, 89 yards and a touchdown. So I don't. You guys have anything on that?
No, I mean they were pretty locked up in general. I think. I mean, other than Buckley's one long rush, I mean, he was held to like 12 yards in total.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, other than the 75-yarder,
it's like that 75-yarder came at like the first 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, and then you're thinking like, okay, like here we go, you know, like, and then that was it. So they gotta clean it up a little bit. We'll just see. That's all I have. They just got to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely got to clean it up a little bit, man. I mean, like you said, Buckley had the big run. And I was just surprised they only got the ball 6 or 7 more times after that. You think the kid might have something going. Obviously, if he breaks into the open field, they're not going to catch him. So if you have got nothing else going on, maybe that's the way to go. But whatever. I mean, Salopek didn't look good again, and it is what it is. I mean, Syracuse are just too good. Too good for what Western's got going.
Yeah, that's pretty much why I have. Buckley had a great run. That was pretty much it for them for the whole night. Team ran for 97 yards as a whole, 75 yards on one play. Crazy stat in all of it is Western had the more time of possession by like a minute.
Really?
That is crazy. Yeah. That is crazy.
Yeah. So
dinking and dunking.
Yeah, and
well, they couldn't stop Cuse. I mean, honestly.
No. Right. Yeah. So we'll see what they do this week.
Yeah.
Next up, Eastern at Minnesota. Minnesota won 25-6. Smith was 9 for 20, 71 yards and interception. Evans had 11 carries for 73 yards. Minnesota's quarterback, I'm going to try to pronounce it. Is it Ethan Kaliakamanis? Crazy last name.
Something like that.
I'm going to work on that.
Crazy.
He was 10 for 15, 117 yards. Taylor had 33 carries for 193 yards and a touchdown. Dean, what did you see?
Well, I think it was pretty obvious. Austin Smith didn't play great. He's gonna have to clean it up. You know, he's gonna have to clean. They're just all gonna have to clean it up. No, but I mean, really, yes. But I mean, your defense can't give up that many rushing yards to one guy and expect to win the football game. I mean, in the end, you know, I mean, it just comes down. Yeah, I mean, and the offense has to move. I mean, they didn't really run very well. They didn't pass the ball very well. You know, if you're that stale on offense and you're not getting anything going, you got to throw some trickery in there or something. It just didn't seem like anything was happening for them. So, I mean, it seemed close going into the second half, right? Until they scored, who was it again? Western versus or Eastern versus
Minnesota.
Thank you. I'm not rowing the boat, so. But yeah, no, it's hard to win when you give up 296 total rushing yards. So.
I agree. Yeah.
No doubt about it, man. I mean, it's tough. It wouldn't. Austin Smith, you know, he posts another turd of a day, like Bill said, 9 of 20, a 25.1 QBR. You just got no shot of winning when your QB plays like that and you're not running it especially well. respectable play from our boys up front. Dooley and the boys. Only giving up 4 sacks, especially given that Minnesota knew they were going to have to throw. They were down 20-6 after 3 quarters. Nothing you can do. Yeah, Minnesota's just too talented, and it is what it is, man.
No, I thought they played them tough. I mean, it was 20-6 midway through the fourth. And to your point, Smith was sacked 4 times. One was on a 2 linebacker blitz. 2 were extremely long progressions. He just held the ball too long on 2 of those. One of those was at the end of the game. I did watch Dooley. On most offensive plays that I had seen. Those sacks, it wasn't on him. So he played well. The line, like you said, the rest of the line played well. But over 200 yards rushing, you can't. Eventually the front seven's like, all right, I'm tired. So
yeah, man.
You get worn down.
Hey, played them tough, So next game we got CMU New Hampshire. CMU won on a last second field goal, 45-42. Bert Emanuel 7 for 19, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Bailey 20 carries, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. Emmanuel 21 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. Parker had 3 receptions for 124 yards. Davis had 2 receptions for 42 yards and a touchdown. For New Hampshire, Brosner was 32 for 50 for 493 yards, 4 touchdowns and an interception. Lob. He had 7 carries for 30 yards and touchdown, but he also had 12 receptions for 295 yards and 2 touchdowns. The highlights that I had seen from, and I actually watched the game. I mean, in and out at times because I was trying to watch some other stuff for our pick'em. But man, that kid was good. And their quarterback actually, I mean, I get it, but like mechanics wise, their quarterback looked good. Bert Emanuel, great runner.
Yeah.
Heck of a runner.
Fantastic.
Throws a shot put for a football. I mean, hey, you know what? His strength is running. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So, man, the defense did not look great. They're gonna need to clean that up.
You're gonna clean it up. You gotta clean it up. Hey, don't take my line, man.
Sorry.
Hey.
I'm getting angry.
So, good win. They got the win. They pulled it out. We'll see what happens this week. What are you guys' thoughts on Central New Hampshire?
Yeah. I mean, the defense was poor. It wasn't great. Like you said, you're giving up almost 500 yards to the New Hampshire quarterback, dude. Like, come on now. Then Bert Emanuel's out there struggling to throw 15 passes, just throwing lucky shots up the field. But I mean, it's good. It's good that they won. I mean, that's huge. I mean, you think they don't return that kick return, they probably don't win that game. I mean, more than likely. But it all comes down to those little things. You know what I mean? It comes down to things like that. So, yeah. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe Bert pulls off some miracle run at the end. But it would have to be a run. You know, he's not throwing it for a miracle. Yeah. So, I mean, they got this one by the skin of their teeth or whatever they call it. And consider
What
themselves lucky.
what does the defense need to do?
Play better. Play better.
Clean it
against,
up.
Clean it up.
well, they need to tidy that up.
I mean, no question. They gotta tidy that up.
I'm just doing different terms for clean
They need to organize their
they,
sets.
they really got to mop this up.
Yeah.
Eddie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you. They gotta clean it up, no doubt. I thought it was a pretty rough win. I mean, for Central, I mean, I actually have literally written down, as you said, Bert is a heck of a runner. I have that written down verbatim. He is a heck of a runner. Obviously, he struggles with throwing. He can hit a big play because if you go 7 for 19 and you have almost 200 yards, obviously, you've hit some big throws. To do that, 2 TDs, 2 picks against New Hampshire. It's just not going to get it done, man. I mean, 43.5 QBR. I mean, if he and Bailey can run for over 100 apiece in each game, then they have a chance to keep themselves in games or win games. But if they don't, and it comes down to having to throw the ball, I mean, it's not good.
Just throwing Hail Marys.
I expected more out of this team this year, honestly. And it's only 2 weeks in, so it is what it is. But man, Bert's got to be able to throw it.
Yeah,
and it hurts to see.
Right. I mean,
there's
it's
nothing
the
else
same
to say about it.
It's the same, same with Austin Smith at Eastern.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
So, real quick, we'll do MSU Richmond. MSU won. Noah Kim, great day, 18 for 22, 292, 3 touchdowns. Carter had 19 carries, 111 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Mosley had 5 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown. For Richmond, Wickersham was only 16 for 22 with 102 yards. Good dominant win for them, which we said was going to happen. Regardless of the team, you still got to go out there and play. Noah Kim looked great. That's all I have. I mean, they played a good game.
Yeah.
A good sound game. Yeah.
I said MSU looked as they should, man. I mean, Kim had a better day against a worse team. Only 4 incomplete passes, almost 300 yards. Nathan Carter looks fast again. We'll see how he looks going up against some better teams, but he just looks fast, does he not? I mean, just watching him, he just looks like a fast dude. I'm not saying he's a Kenneth Walker dude. I'm saying you just see it.
He has a nice burst to him,
That kid's quick. And so that means you could, but he had a 44-yard touchdown run. The defense did well. They only gave up 1 touchdown, and that was with 5 minutes to go. So we're not even talking the majority starters, that kind of thing. At that point, 45. It was 45-7 at that point. Obviously, it was the fumble return for a touchdown that had the other touchdown. So they pretty much did what they were supposed to do. The defense did 3 and outs on 6 of 11 Richmond drives. I mean, it's over half the time 3 and outs. I mean, probably should do a little higher than that against that team, but what are you gonna do, man? I mean, there was a couple drives that were only 5 plays long, so they look good. It was as expected.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to add to that. I've written down Nathan Carter. Looked good, looked fast, like you said. Noah Kim, I mean, so far I know he hasn't played anybody of real note yet. I mean, no offense to CMU, but he's looked good. I mean, he was throwing dimes all day, on Saturday, and I appreciate it. I didn't watch a ton of Michigan State football last year, but I mean, I feel like, there's a possibility he could be better than Peyton Thorne. I mean, I could see why they would say he was pushing him in practice and stuff,
For sure.
That's definitely
Peyton Thorne struggled all last year throwing a deep ball.
Right.
And that was tough to watch.
That seems to be Noah Kim's thing, is to throw them deep balls. So, I mean, I was happy with it. I mean, I can't complain about the outcome. We'll just have to wait and see once they play somebody a little bit more significant.
Coming up.
Like
They
this
don't get-
Saturday.
They don't get they don't have to clean it up. They cleaned it. Well, they'll
Yeah,
clean something up.
which we'll lead into the preview for this week for the Michigan teams with MSU Washington. Let's just go through the preview and then get into Mel Tucker because I'm very interested to see what you guys think of it and how you guys think I think of it because I kind of have a interesting take on it. But anyways, MSU Washington this weekend. Real quick, my notes. It's not a lot. I'll let you guys kind of talk about it. But Washington, they do look good, and I mean, I think they were better than what I thought they were going to be. I know they were ranked high, but there's always that team. They do look pretty good. I do think MSU is going to come out firing based on it's a big game. It's at home, and with everything going on, I think that's just a little extra motivation for them. With everything, like I said, with everything going on, I think it's going to be a lot closer than the 16 points that the sports books are giving MSU. I don't know if they'll win. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are thinking. And obviously, I think it's going to come down to how well Noah Kim plays. But I think if Noah Kim plays well, and they can kind of tame Penix Jr., I think they win the game. I seriously do. And if they were playing at Washington, I probably wouldn't say that. But they're playing East Lansing. They, for better or worse, it's extra motivation with everything going on. You know what? I'm gonna say I definitely think MSU is gonna cover. I think Washington wins close.
Isn't that for the Pick'em episode?
Yeah,
How
but
dare
I
you.
mean, but I mean, it's the whole point of that. It's 16 points. They're a 16-point dog at home. I think they can. I think they're better than a 16-point underdog at home.
Yeah, I agree with that. Fun fact: last time, where was it? Hold on. Last time MSU beat Washington was in 1969 at Spartan Stadium. Boom. So, and they're 3-1 all time against Washington's 3-1 all time against MSU. So I think they're due. I think MSU is due for a big one, baby. About 3 touchdowns over. But yeah, but no, they should. It's going to be a tough game. Washington is obviously a pretty high passing team. Secondary is, can be a question. So we'll see. Plus now we have an interim head coach in Harlan Bennett. Obviously D'Antonio is back doing advisory roles or whatever. I don't know how much that'll really affect what's going on. I know Harlan Bennett's been with the program for like 20 plus years, something like that. 15 years, I don't know, something like that. But we'll see. I mean, Washington's going to come out firing. I think it's going to be a shootout if it's going to be anything. So we'll see.
Oh, I think it's an interesting dynamic this week, man. I hope to God none of these kids have like a free Tucker shirt on or anything like that. Like,
no, that's the bad call, guys.
I hope somebody in the room is, I'm sure a lot of these kids like him. They came to play for him.
Right. Yeah.
There's all that stuff going on. So I hope there's people around that say, hey, just wear a state shirt this weekend. You know, like just
At
put a big
first,
block S on you, and
at
call
first
it
I
good.
thought you meant that like as towards a slight because the whole free Harbaugh thing and whatnot. But I mean, it's a little different of a situation going on right now.
Hardly, but yes. As far as the game goes, I'm not really sure Michigan State does anything well enough on offense to really keep up totally through the game. The defense has played well, but we haven't played anybody, and so it's hard to say. Unless there's some emotional outburst from the team that fires them up for an upset. I mean, I don't see it happening. Penix has always had good games against Michigan State, even at Indiana. Although D'Antonio's on the sidelines, and he's the last Michigan State coach to beat Penix, I guess. So that means absolutely nothing. And I think it'll either be a good game or Washington runs away.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's not Michigan State running away.
No.
Unless a lot of lucky things happen, but I don't see that. I'm hoping for a good game. I assume Washington's going to win by 10-ish. We're at home. I'm sure the crowd at MSU is going to be working for the team that day. So we'll see.
Yeah. Which, before we get into the next game, I want to touch on Mel Tucker and everything that's going on over there right now. I don't want to crucify the guy without knowing all the facts, because we don't know all the facts, right? But if what is said is true, you have to be the biggest idiot on the face of the earth. I'm sorry. You don't do do the things you do with a rape survivor. Again,
that's the word you chose to say.
Oh, should I not have said that?
That's probably the word you shouldn't have said.
Oh, a sexual assault survivor.
Oh, there you go.
But I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure she's a rape survivor. I think that's the whole
Definitely.
reason why.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand how in any situation you would think that's okay. As a leader of a football team, as a figurehead of an institution, I just don't. That's why it's so hard for me to believe. And I'm not discounting the lady, that by any means. I'm not saying she's lying. It's just extremely hard for me to believe that you would not be thinking about your career, your job, what you're doing in that time while you're married on top of that. So
she's married too, huh?
I don't know. He is, or he was.
Yeah.
If everything's true, he's obviously gone. I think he's gone anyway. I don't. Being suspended without pay is not a good indicator of, well, everything's going to be all right. I don't think if this continues, I think he's gone. I don't think he coaches at Michigan State again. But that's my wild take. I guess it's not really that wild.
I was
though.
gonna say, I don't know if that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
You're probably pretty spot on. Yeah, and I didn't even realize any of that was happening until I saw a meme on on like Facebook, and it just said he was fired. And I was like, what? And I was like, why would they fire him? They just won. and then I looked into it. Obviously, I was like, why would they fire him? That makes no sense. Like, oh, we won.
It's so rare to see a
45-7
fire
over.
after a victory.
Yeah, we just won by 35 points. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's like you said, you don't want to crucify him because you don't really know. But then again, it's like you can't discredit this lady for it's a tough situation. Like you said, I mean, there's probably a higher chance that he never coaches at Michigan State again than there is that he does. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. If he's cleared of everything and it was all a lie, then I mean, I don't see why you couldn't let him continue. But I don't know. It's not a good look for sure.
It's bad optics either way,
Yeah.
even if it was a lie. And like, I mean, the whole thing is that it's not that it didn't happen at this point, it's that it was consensual. So it did happen either way. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the optics just look terrible. So Eddie, yeah, sorry, your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to go. Just straight up, he's got to go. As soon as the hearing on October 5th and 6th is over, he's gone. Dude, if you didn't think he was gone, I mean, they spent it without pay. They've taken his pictures out of picture frames that are hanging up in Michigan State football facilities. Like just blank picture frames hanging up there. That usually doesn't mean they're thinking a guy's coming back. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Yeah.
Like, you're not just spending it without pay. We're eliminating you from our history at this point. Unless there's some unequivocal evidence that hasn't been brought forth that's going to totally clear his name on October 5th and 6th, he's done. He's 100% gone, and he has to be gone. And I can't imagine there's the evidence that suggests he is totally innocent because she submitted 1,200-page document to USA Today. I can't imagine there. Even if he is somehow innocent, there's no way he gets around this, and there's no way MSU can let it go.
Well, no,
There's just no chance.
And like, to your point too, and like, I just said, either way, it's bad optics for the university, right? I mean, it's not a good look, even if it was consensual at this point. And the fact that now you're just now finding out about it on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
as
I
far
mean,
as
that's
the
a whole
public.
lot of yeah. I mean, that's a whole lot of stuff too. The university legitimately couldn't have done anything more than what's happened so far. I don't know. If I'm just going with football, I'm going to be straight up. I'm kind of breathing a sigh of relief over the whole thing. If I'm just thinking about football, other than 2021, it hasn't felt like anything. He's brought in some top 25 recruiting classes. We don't know how. I mean, I can't say I've been impressed with what I've seen so far this year against bad teams.
Yeah. Felt like I was the only one coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you weren't. It's a huge contract. I mean, you guys have all seen there's an out in the contract for making the university look bad, that kind of thing. So we're gonna leave $80 million away from him. That's why they have to wait till October 5th or 6th. They have to go through this hearing. He's gonna get blamed. They'll be able to get out of this contract. And the good part about that is for the football team is the issue that happened when Saban left is that Michigan State wasn't a place that could give you everything you needed. Now, obviously, there's the resource. Clearly, Michigan State could pay you a top 5 salary in the country, in a
Right.
conference that's a top 1-2 conference in the country, on a school program that's a top half of that conference, you can make it happen at Michigan
Right.
State.
Right.
And there's no reason you can't think it could happen because the resources are clearly there. I've gone over the other stuff before, ratings, attendance, all
Yep.
that stuff. It's all there. So it's an attractive job. The AP rated Michigan State as top 20 all time, just college football program, just based on results and success, let alone all the other stuff. That aside. So I just wanted to say, I mean, that Mel Tucker is just an incredibly inconsiderate eel of a son of a bee, man. The school gave him everything, literally gave him everything. An incredibly high contract, incredibly high paid assistant coaches. Did you know our offensive line coach makes over $1 million? Just the O-line coach.
Nice.
$80 million in upgrades to the football facilities. 3 weeks ago, this guy in his preseason interview, I didn't bring this up because I'm like, okay, he's just doing whatever. He's making excuses for why we're going to have a bad season, where he's complaining about the facilities, where he's complaining about the NIL situation, how he's not getting enough support when he's literally getting everything from this college, while at the same time knowing that he's under a Title IX investigation due to complaints about him jerking it on the phone with the most prominent rape activist in college sports.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
It's it's absolutely crazy, man.
It's wild.
It made me
It blows
super
my
mad.
mind.
You were given everything. You made excuses that we all, at least those who are biased to Michigan State, who heard him talk, glazed over because you're like, okay, it probably won't be an amazing season. Okay, I get it. And you're making excuses for yourself. But what he was blaming it on left a sour taste in my mouth. But I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens next year. See how this year goes. See what happens next year. But I didn't know at that time. He obviously knew since December he was under an investigation. It's just super disappointing. It's incredibly selfish, narcissistic bull. And what kind of pissed me off, aside from that, is the media portion of that, where they were teeing off on the university. These sports journalism degree blowhards, guys like up in your like huge, who are just teeing off on like Michigan State when they literally followed Title IX protocol. And all these people had to do, who are journalists, just had to Google. Like literally, that's all I did. I just Googled it. And like literally, Title IX experts and lawyers say Michigan State had to follow this protocol. The reason, like they knew there was an investigation going on in December. They don't know the details unless Tucker or the accused, Brenda Tracy, or accuser, Brenda Tracy, reveal the information. There's no way they can know what the information is. And so if Michigan State goes ahead and suspends Mel Tucker in December, not even knowing what the investigation is, one, they put themselves liable to owe Mel Tucker the rest of his contract plus whatever damages he's going to claim. Two, the big thing with Title IX is not allowing the victim to be exposed. So if you release this, you suspend Tucker, all of a sudden there's FOIA, there's all this other stuff that comes into play, and potentially the victim could be outed, which is really the number one protection when you go through a Title IX investigation. If the victim doesn't want to be outed, don't out the victim. And at the end of the day, this all came up because she ended up sending it to USA Today. Their lawyer is also saying that somebody leaked her identity to local press. I don't know how that would happen. Whatever. But
Unless it was Mel
I thought
Tucker.
it could have been.
I mean, go ahead.
I don't have a lot more to add to it, honestly. It's incredibly frustrating all around. Just that Mel Tucker, just the shame that man doesn't have to go through with all the things he's done over the last year. And I've talked to people that I know who are connected with the university, connected with the program, that kind of. They're actually happy for Harlan Barnett, and also that the Tucker, like, people are keeping their hands away from the Tucker situation, obviously for obvious reasons, but also they're like, it's going to get worse. He was very detached actually from the program, and now it all kind of adds up to a lot of these other people. Like, he seemed very detached from the spring, like late winter, spring, and that all kind of makes sense considering the investigation would have started right around then. And so I wonder if maybe some of the players are actually kind of used to him not. And I wonder if that played a part in Keon Coleman and Peyton Thorne. Obviously,
right.
Mel Tucker was checked out, and that is like stuff I've legitimately heard from people who know, like, he was out during that time. He just was not fully engaged with the team and team activities and things like that. So I guess that all kind of makes sense. I guess I leave that hope that the kids can rally around whatever they got to rally around, and they're they're kind of used to not having him be the guy.
Right. Well,
but yeah, just super disappointing, obviously.
Well, to what you said, a lot of people gave him a lot of grief when he left Colorado to come to Michigan State and how he went about that whole thing. And now you're kind of looking at it like, man, that was kind of a precursor of what was to come. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for Michigan State, but
it is, it's kind of crazy because, like, they put out the help signal and D'Antonio comes around, but he kind of also left us in the lurch that made us scramble to find a coach in the first place at that time. And I mean, I guess thankfully now, like I said, the good thing about Tucker is that he showed Michigan State will give you what you need if you're that person. They will give you what you need if you were that person. And also, they will clearly go through a full. This won't be a short coach hire.
right.
This is going to be months long process. And if Harlan Bennett somehow magically tears it up, Barnett, I mean, tears it up, then it'll probably be his job. But
that's
hard to say.
That's why I think. I mean, I think Saturday's game is going to be. There's going to be a lot of emotion for that team.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, we'll see, but yeah, crappy situation, and it just baffles me. It just baffles me how stupid you can be if what is said is true. If what is said is true, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, well, he's guilty, even though all signs point to it. I'm not gonna wait for all the facts. So Yeah, it's still. I mean, he
I think-
already said that he did. It's just that it was consensual. It's just bad. Look,
it's bad all around. I think regardless, October 5th, 6th come, whenever that hearing is over, I think he's officially gone pretty shortly after. And if not, that is a big mistake.
right?
Just
Yeah.
like you said, at minimum optics, but in general, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We're not far removed from Nasser. You know, I mean, it's just you put all that stuff together, and
Right.
he's got to go.
Right.
He just has to go, unless, like I said, there's some crazy unequivocal evidence that proves him to be whatever. But there isn't, because apparently they both deleted their texts, and which you could say whatever you want about that,
Right.
but they're not there.
Right.
And you know, it is.
I'm
what
sure
it
they
is.
can be recovered though.
We might find out.
Maybe that's where people are saying it's going to get worse.
But
you know,
if she knows, if she has any inkling, she seems like a very smart lady.
mm-hmm.
She must not be that too afraid.
Right. Well, and I mean, it's not just some random person either. You know, this is like a like you said, a prominent activist. You know what I mean? And I find it very hard to believe that someone with that kind of prominence would go out and just be like, oh, well, it was consensual. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be to a point where if she's saying it wasn't consensual, it probably wasn't consensual. Why, why you drag your name for that? No. So, wait till facts come out, but it's not looking great. So, let's move on real quick to another
About them
train
Broncos,
wreck.
huh?
No. Western Iowa. Dean, your thoughts?
Sorry, Tucker's all in my head now, and in my phone. Too soon? Too soon.
It might be.
All right, a little too soon. On Saturday, though, this or today, as I should say, not too soon. Anyway, Western Michigan versus Iowa, huh? I like how we
Hell of
go
a
from
game.
that. You guys are talking super serious. I'm just sitting here like, so Dean, Iowa, Western Michigan, just out of nowhere. Like, cool, all right. So, I mean, obviously, after last week, Western struggled against I keep forgetting who they play, Syracuse.
Yep.
I think it's going to be. I don't think Iowa scores as many points. I don't think they're as high powered in offense as Syracuse. So, if they can hold up, they keep McNamara in check. they got a shot.
I have it'd take nearly a miracle for WMU to win this. That's all I got. I was a big.
You
big
know what?
victor.
You know what? Western's gonna win out in their hype tape for like the MAC championship is gonna be us laughing.
Oh, dude, just us laughing.
It's gonna take a miracle.
I mean, it will.
McNamara in check.
No,
it will take some. Yeah.
My notes just say Iowa will dominate Western. Western's offense isn't very good. Neither is their defense. They might get shut out.
They're bad on offense, defense, and special teams. I
mean, they're not going to be good in the MAC. What's to say they're going to play well against one of the better teams in the West Division of the Big Ten?
Like I said, I think it sums it up. It would literally take nearly a miracle for Western Michigan to win.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
What did I have? They have the line at what was it?
27.
Oh, 27, yeah. Oof. And that's because Iowa's offense not as high powered as Syracuse.
I mean,
if it was any other Big Ten team, it'd probably be like 35.
Yeah. So, okay.
And they only beat Utah State 24-14. So
Iowa.
Dean's
Iowa.
taking Western to cover.
Oh,
you just heard it right there. Little sneak peek.
So Dean, back to Mel Tucker. How you? All right. So UMass at Eastern Michigan. I feel Eastern gets back on the old dub train. They played well against Syracuse, Minnesota. UMass lost to Miami of Ohio at home. UMass's QB threw for 244 and 3 TDs though, so we got to watch out for that. I think Eastern's D is up to the challenge. Eastern wins by 14.
Yeah, man. Real quick, I guess EMU hasn't looked impressive, but they should win. Other than beating New Mexico State, UMass has gotten creamed by Auburn, lost by 2 touchdowns, like you said, to Miami, Ohio. Get Samson Evans 20 carries and control the ball on your way to victory. Go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Austin Smith has to play better, overall. And so UMass is 2-2 all time against EMU. So
the rubber match.
This really puts it in the drive for these guys, for the Minutemen. So yeah, no, I mean I expect EMU to win. Let's go with that.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Next up, CMU at Notre Dame. Eddie, you can go first.
This is one of the fire up chips. It's one of those games I felt way better about before the season started.
Mm-hmm.
Never really gave CMU a chance to win, but now I just kind of hope they can keep it somewhat respectable. Hard to say that because I can't stand Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just too talented against a very one-dimensional CMU team. Not much else to say about it. I love the chips. It is what it is. Notre Dame's just too good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Notre Dame's just, as much as I hate to say, because I also dislike Notre Dame with a passion as a Michigan State fan, especially. But,
yeah. Oh.
I mean, they're probably just going to run all over them.
Especially. We hate Notre Dame too.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. I kind of think of Notre Dame as like our Ohio State. But
really,
maybe that's just
not Michigan, huh? Weird.
Well, they're like our 1B.
Yeah,
that's fair. They're our 1B
from
too.
This rivalry. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
Whatever. I've always disliked Notre Dame with a passion. So more than I dislike Michigan, honestly. But yeah, I mean, they're probably just gonna run all over them. All they really have to do is just be able to stop the run, Notre Dame, and that's gonna put a wrap on it, put a bow on it. You know what I mean?
The miracle in South Bend is happening, baby.
So, yeah,
that'd be something.
Yeah,
the miracle will be if they keep within 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I have
sadly.
I have on here CMU offense won't be able to move the ball. because Emmanuel can't throw. The CMU defense will get torched by Sam Hartman in the Notre Dame offense. I hate to say it, I don't like
It's a 33-point line, man.
Yeah, I have Notre Dame winning by 35.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, all they're gonna have to do is load the box, like Dean said, load the box up, make Emmanuel throw, and I just don't see it.
That's usually my game plan. Load up the box, see what happens.
Dang it.
You can stop a lot of offenses that way, right?
All right, last game, Michigan versus Bowling Green. I just have more of the same this week. Probably put up more than 35 this week. Defense will more than likely dominate Bowling Green's offense. A couple interesting things I'd like to see is if Donovan Edwards gets more snaps this week. Probably not. They're probably gonna try to get Corum's numbers up, which is fine. I mean, Blake Corum's a good running back, so he'll continue his hot start as he should. I have Michigan by 42.
Yeah, all I had is Bowling Green lost to Liberty in week 1. So Michigan crushes these guys without trying that hard. That's it.
I had that.
I mean, come on, dude.
I literally wrote down Bowling Green lost to Liberty week 1.
You put that too?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I'm like, dude, there's no way they have it. I mean, even a remote shot, I mean, you never know, but
dude, it would take
you want
so many.
They're gonna have to clean it up.
It's gonna be
clean up.
It's gonna be a pretty gruesome week in the MAC.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough in the MAC this week.
So, moving on, we're gonna get into our worst takes. I only have a couple would you rather, so it should go pretty quick. Dean, do you have a worst take from the weekend?
The only one I can think of is there was a guy on ESPN talking about the Lions, saying that the Chiefs were just going to run all over the Lions. They're going to win. No Kelsey, no problem, is what he said.
That's aggressive.
Literally,
I love that.
They're going to win 42 to.
Put that in my hype video.
Yeah,
that's a worst take.
42. He's like, they have the best. They have Patrick Mahomes, which is true. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the only thing that really kept him there.
All you had to say was no Kelsey, no problem.
No Kelsey, no problem.
Terrible take.
I love that. Oh,
you guys, you didn't hear that one?
No, that is so good.
They were ripping that guy apart then on the following show.
Oh no shit! Yeah,
they
dude.
brought it up. They brought it up. He's just sitting there like that was one of the worst takes I've ever heard.
Eddie?
Yeah, I mean, mine's Lions Chiefs too, and I'm gonna go ahead and call out somebody. He's not the only person that I heard do this, but you guys know Justin from the Great Lakes Gridiron podcast. Okay, so he was saying before the game, oh, how funny it would be if they lose by 2 touchdowns when Kansas City doesn't even have Kelsey or Jones. And I knew then that the narrative, based on somebody saying that, is that, oh, if we win, it's because we don't have Kelsey and Jones. They didn't have Kelsey and Jones. And if we lose, oh, you couldn't win because, and they didn't even have Kelsey and Jones. Like, right. Either way.
Right.
Like, I find that a terrible take because, like, you're just trying to pin it into like, oh, it was bad either way. It doesn't matter if you won. Yeah. And we win. It's because no Kelsey or Jones. We lose, whatever. I get it. But what makes it bad is that even without those guys, 8 out of the 10 ESPN guys that we saw pregame picked Kansas City to win. The line, the spread was still minus to the Chiefs. Okay, you can say whatever you want. We didn't have Kelsey, didn't have Jones. We were still favored to lose the game. So people could say whatever they want about it. We were still supposed to lose the game. You can say Kelsey and Jones are the 2 greatest players to have ever played football of all times, which is how it felt the day after. from what I was hearing, they're just, if they played, Chiefs don't ever lose. They'll never lose a game. With Jones and Kelsey, how could they possibly ever lose a football game? It's just impossible.
They'll never lose.
Especially to the Lions. If they played
Right.
17 times with Kelsey and Jones, Chiefs would be 17-0. No question. But I found that to be the worst. Mostly because it annoyed me. Second, because Justin annoyed me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like they picked all that. I get it. They're favored. I mean, the Chiefs should have been favored. They're at home. They're at Arrowhead. They have Patrick Mahomes, who's arguably top 5 QB all time already.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it. But don't pretend like now all of a sudden like it's a cheap win or Tirico asterisk because those two guys weren't in the game. That's a bad take.
Well, that's my worst take.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. 'Cause
Sorry.
that is my worst take.
That is a bad take.
It's a terrible take.
And I quote, "We watched the Chiefs go to Foxborough in 2016. It was actually 2017. And secure a victory on opening night, signaling that the Chiefs would be a formidable team. While there's an asterisk here due to the absence of Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, based on what we observed at the end of the previous season and what we witnessed tonight, it's clear that the team in blue and silver is a legitimate contender," which that is fine, but this is the NFL. Injuries happen. Things happen. We didn't have JMO. Okay.
I argued we didn't even have Hutch.
Yeah, exactly. So to sit there and say it's an asterisk is so stupid. It's so dumb. Just like I don't know.
Last night that happened, didn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. That made me so mad when I saw that. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah, Rex Ryan spoke on that
Asterisk?
too.
Have our guys been juicing? I mean, what are we talking? An asterisk? Like we're not on HGH.
Right.
They just 2 guys on the Chiefs couldn't play. Sorry,
Right.
it just happens. That's football.
Yeah. Dean, what were you gonna say?
Asterisk.
Sorry, I was waiting. I said Rex Ryan spoke on that too because somebody asked him about what do you think about Mike Tirico saying that there's an asterisk to this game, and he was like, no, he's like there should be an asterisk on that them letting that guy false start the entire freaking
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, yeah, that boy Rex. tell him, baby, let's go.
I'm pretty sure he was wearing a Lions hat.
I was gonna say he was
too.
wearing a Lions hat. He said his son coaches.
He's got a relative that coaches, right, on the Lions staff?
He said it was his son.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. So
Roger Ryan. I don't know.
Rob.
Yeah.
Or not
Rob.
Rob.
That's his
Rex.
brother.
Or not Rex.
Rex
I'll think of another R.
Richard.
Richard.
Ronaldo.
Ray Ryan.
River.
River.
Side note, Rex Ryan's teeth are incredibly white.
They're fake.
They're veneers.
Oh, they are?
I mean,
Gotta
probably.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't always had that straight, that clean.
Man, those are white. So, all right.
Probably
Anyways,
just mouthful of dentures. All good. Looks good.
Yeah.
it looks great.
Not hating.
No. They were just.
Why are you
white.
hating, bro?
I
No,
should invest.
your teeth look great.
They're pretty straight.
All right. So I got 2 would you rathers tonight, real quick, to close out the episode. First one is step on 4 thumbtacks or have your eyebrows and facial hair shaved off before family pictures with a wedding the next day with no reason to explain other than you felt like you wanted to go with something different.
Facial hair and what?
Eyebrows.
Oh, jeez.
Before a big event, you can't explain. Well, I
No.
guess what happened.
What was the
No.
first one? Thumbtacks?
4
4 thumbtacks what?
to your foot. Yes, you have to step on them.
Just step on.
Needles up.
I stepped
Needles
on a lot
up.
of- I stepped on a lot of
Well,
thumbtacks,
yeah.
weirdly enough.
Really?
Yeah, when we were kids, I used to step on them all the time.
Wow.
Not on
That's
purpose.
insane.
Yeah, they just be. I feel like you guys are playing them places. I just step on them.
I don't even remember thumbtacks being around
Dude,
at the house.
Weird. I
Huh.
hated it.
Yeah, no kidding.
So based
Yeah,
on based on experience, what would you do?
I mean, I will say that going completely shaven and then having to do a big event would be absolutely hilarious. Like looking back on, you know what I
And,
mean?
that
but
would
and
be.
the only explanation you give is I wanted to go with something
And
different.
that's a funny response, though.
That is kind of a funny response.
Oh man, I'll probably just step on the thumb. It'll be quick.
Yeah,
It's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt like a mug, but
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that too. I don't want to shave my eyebrows off.
yeah, I don't even want to shave my beard. I'd shave my eyebrows before my beard. I think.
Really?
No.
Nah, dude.
I don't know. I do look weird without it.
You do get to keep your hair. So
At that point, I don't know if it matters.
I think yeah, I'd go on the thumb. Oh god, I don't step on the
That would
thumbtacks.
hurt. I mean,
It sucks.
4
just all at one time,
on
right?
your foot, yeah.
Uh,
Oh man.
You know how many of these things, like some tough people, if they've ever watched, are just like, what pansies, dude?
4 thumbtacks?
4
thumbtacks? You did not help at all, right there. 4 thumbtacks?
Oh hey.
Oh no!
All right. The other one I have is you oh man. Would you oh you're good listen gross. Would you rather eat someone else's toenails
Yes.
or have someone breathe in your face 3 times after waking up that you don't know?
Well, I'm not eating somebody's toenails.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
dude.
let them breathe in my face, like ugh. No, if you said fart in my face, like spread open butt cheeks, squat over my face.
All right.
3 quick farts, then.
All right, we'll go with that then. I figured someone breathing in your
How do you
face is
eat
absolutely-
somebody's toenail?
They clip it off and you eat it.
You just
How
chew
do you
I
eat
guess.
it?
Just
I
chew
don't
it
know.
How do you eat a toenail? You just gotta swallow it down.
I
You
would
just
assume
like
that's
maybe
you feel the
preferred
poking
method.
down your throat.
Maybe freshly out of the shower, so it's.
I don't know how you would chew it out. Can
I
you
chew my
chew a
fingernails.
toenail down to nothing?
I chew my fingernails.
Yeah, but was it nothing?
No, eventually I just spit it out.
Yeah.
I know that's gross, but it's just something.
So how do you?
I've always-
Well,
I
whatever.
haven't.
That's like a pretty common thing.
I was gonna say that's
So-
pretty common.
I mean, how do you eat the? I mean,
You just gotta
eat the
swallow it, I
toenail.
guess. I mean, just cut it up and
do I have to chew it?
yeah.
Or
Do
can I
whatever
just
you want.
Get a glass of water and just chug them down.
Yes, you can use water. That's fine.
Is it all 10 toes?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Is that
Gotta
how
be.
long has it been since they cut their
No
toenails?
question. I mean, I don't make the rules.
It's been like 3 months since they clipped their toenails. They're just like big, thick.
Yeah, I mean they're not cleanly cut by any means.
10
You know what?
T-nails
I like a good fart to the face.
or 3 hot farts straight to the face.
Wide open
Cheek.
cheeks.
Cheek spread.
They got a little flour in there too, so you get a little dusting. So you know it's on you.
Honestly, it kind of depends on who the person's that's farting in my
It's just
face.
random. It's just random.
It's just so random.
It's so random.
Gross, man.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just gonna try and chug the toenails.
Oh, fair enough.
Ugh.
I'm gonna get pink eye, so.
There's no good. Yeah, dude. Oh,
Oh god,
dude, and
what'd you
dude,
eat?
just you feel that air just.
Just
It might be a
Oh.
big one too. You never know.
so, Dean, you're going to fart.
I'm not eating toenails, dude. There's no way.
I'm not eating toenails.
I'll take the pink eye. I guess that's gross as hell. But
Yeah, it's
I'm
one of those
sorry.
things that like holds your eyes open too.
Just
So you have to get the pink eye.
Just you're getting pink eye, buddy.
Today is not your day.
I didn't wipe very
Next
well
thing
last
all
night.
poop slips out.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey,
Just-
we never said any of that. It's just-
Hey, you don't know. They're just farting, dude. It's rando.
Give me a quick shart.
Oh, man.
Oh.
That wasn't a fart.
He's like, oh, you got two more.
All right. Well, that'll end today's episode. Ain't nothing like talking
That'll
about
do it, huh?
ain't nothing like talking about miracles and Mel Tucker and red cheek farts.
Then polishing it off with a quick 3 farts to the face.
Gross.
All right. Well, with that said, we're gonna call tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching today's episode. We'll have actually the Pick'em episode will be out for week 3. Real quick, just as a preview, Dean is 53.1 against the spread, 53.1%. And
Well, we just go. What's my money line look like?
Dean's money line, he's 75%.
Yeah.
You and I are both 71.4%.
That's all the people need
on
to
the
hear.
money line.
Just go with heart. It's
And
all in the heart, baby.
and I am 71%. So staying strong.
Things are
You'll
about to turn
pick it
around.
up. You'll pick it. You'll turn it around. It happens.
It happens.
That's betting.
Go ahead and tell them
Score
what you're 71% on spread. Is that what you're saying?
I'm 71. Yep.
And I
71%.
am.
41.9%.
Don't follow me on the spread.
We also on the show we have a Stone Cold Lock parlay, which we did not hit last week. But it was plus 622, so maybe we'll Dean, you
Hey
hit
man, there was a
yours.
reason behind that. Hey, A&M missed on that spread lock, but they were 6-0 against ACC teams going into that game. Okay, covering the spread.
They were
And
due for a
Miami
loss.
was 2 of their last 12. So it wasn't crazy. It just didn't freaking hit. I hate Texas A&M, and I hope they lose every game the rest of the year.
I agree. I did have the over in that game. I hit the over. It was over 51. Anyways, that's all for the Pick'em episode. So if you want to check that out, head over there, and we will see you next week. Have a good weekend. Enjoy college games. Go Lions.
Sports Talk.